Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Speak English Podcast, your space to practice real English and get better every day. I'm David, and I'm here with the amazing Sarah.
Hi, guys. Thanks so much for being here with us again. We've come a long way together in this series, and today we're diving into the final episode.
That's right. This is part 3 of our IELTS Speaking Secrets series. If you watched parts 1 and 2, you already know how to ace the beginning of the test.
But part 3? It's the real deal. More complex questions, deeper thinking, and your chance to show that you truly speak English with confidence and clarity.
So if you want to sound like a Band 9 candidate, not just a student answering a test, you're in the right place. Today's episode is packed with powerful tips.
We'll share our favorite technique, walk you through sample answers, and even give you a challenge at the end. You don't want to miss any of it.
And if you've been enjoying this series, please take a second to like this video and subscribe. It helps more learners like you find our podcast.
Okay? Take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and let's jump into the final and most advanced part of the IELTS speaking test, Part 3.
IELTS Speaking. Part 3 is where the test truly challenges your ability to express complex ideas. Unlike Parts 1 and 2, these questions are abstract and require more than just personal stories. They demand opinion, analysis, and clear argumentation.
The examiner will ask you to expand on the topic from Part 2, but in a deeper, more thoughtful way. This is your chance to show how well you can reflect on issues, discuss cause and effect, or talk about general trends using natural and confident English.
Many students struggle here not because they lack vocabulary, but because their answers are either too short or too unorganized. That's where a smart structure comes in. It helps you stay calm, focused, and fluent, even when the question feels complicated.
One of the best techniques for Part 3 is something we call O.R.E.O. It gives you a simple yet powerful structure to organize your thoughts and deliver a complete, impressive answer. It's not a trick. It's a communication tool used by advanced speakers.
Let's break it down. O stands for opinion, where you clearly state your view. R is for reason, where you explain why you think that. E is for example, where you give a real or logical illustration. And the final O is to restate or deepen your opinion.
Using O.R.E.O. helps you avoid those weak, one-sentence replies that leave the examiner unsure of your true language level. With this structure, you immediately show that you can build a logical and meaningful response, even under pressure.
What's great about O.R.E.O. is that it's flexible. Whether the question is about technology, education, or society, this pattern helps you speak clearly and confidently, and it keeps your answer organized without sounding memorized or robotic.
The examiner doesn't want perfect grammar. They want to see that you can express ideas fluently and naturally. O.R.E.O. gives you that confidence because it's not just about the answer. It's about how you deliver it in a smooth, structured way.
Think of it like building a mini essay with your voice. It starts strong with a clear opinion, flows logically with reasons and examples, and finishes by reinforcing or expanding your point. It's easy to remember and powerful in execution.
Once you get used to this technique, you'll notice how much easier it is to answer any question. You won't panic or freeze. You'll know exactly what to do, and you'll sound like someone who's not just studying English, but actually using it like a native speaker.
Let's bring this technique to life with a real IELTS Part 3 question. Imagine the examiner asks, "Do you think technology has made people more or comfortable?" It's a broad question, and many students struggle to know where to begin.
That's exactly where O.R.E.O. becomes your best friend. I'll give you a Band 9 style answer using that structure. Listen closely to how each part connects logically and supports the main idea without sounding mechanical or memorized.
Go ahead, Sarah. Start with your opinion, then walk us through the full response. Pay attention to how she builds the answer, especially the transition between the example and the final opinion restatement.
Sure. I believe technology has made people less sociable in face-to-face settings. That's because people often rely on messaging apps instead of direct conversations. For example, I've seen people at social events focusing on their phones rather than interacting. So, while we're constantly connected online, I think our real-world interactions have decreased significantly.
That's an excellent example. You stated your opinion clearly, explained your reasoning, supported it with a relatable example, and closed by reinforcing your idea. The examiner would instantly recognize a confident and organized answer.
And notice how I didn't rush. I kept a steady pace, used natural linking phrases like, "that's because," and "for example," and made sure every part of the answer contributed to the overall message. That's how you make a strong impression.
Timing also matters. That answer fits perfectly into the 45 to 60-second range, which is ideal for IELTS Part 3. You don't want to give a one-liner, but you also don't need to go on forever. O.R.E.O helps you hit that sweet spot naturally.
The reason this technique works so well is because it mirrors how native speakers organize thoughts in real conversations. It doesn't feel forced, it just makes sense, both to the speaker and to the listener.
If you've ever felt stuck or unsure what to say next during a speaking test, this method gives you direction. Instead of worrying about what words to use, you focus on building your message, step by step.
So next time you hear a question that feels big or complicated, take a breath, remember your O.R.E.O, and start speaking. You'll be surprised how much more fluent and confident you sound with just a little structure.
One of the of using the O.R.E.O technique is that it gives your answers a natural rhythm and flow. Instead of jumping between disconnected ideas, you follow a logical path, and that makes your response easier to understand and more impressive.
Examiners are trained to listen for clarity and coherence, not just vocabulary or grammar. When you organize your ideas with a structure like O.R.E.O, you show them that you can communicate with real fluency, which makes a strong case for a higher band score.
It also keeps your nerves under control. When you're nervous, your thoughts can scatter, and you might ramble or freeze. But when you have a clear structure in mind, you stay focused, speak with purpose, and avoid those awkward pauses or off-topic.
Another huge advantage is flexibility. You can use this structure whether you agree, disagree, or want to discuss both sides. It's not a one-size-fits-all script. It's a guide that helps you respond to any question while sounding thoughtful and confident.
Plus, it shows that you can go beyond basic responses. A lot of candidates say things like, "I think it's good," or "It depends," and then stop. O.R.E.O pushes you to develop your ideas further, which is exactly what examiners are looking for in Part 3.
It also helps you develop the habit of thinking critically in English. The more you practice giving reasons and examples, the more fluent your thinking becomes. Eventually, you'll be able to build arguments without even needing to think about the structure.
And let's not forget, it saves you time during the test. Instead of wasting precious seconds figuring out what to say, you jump right in with confidence. That kind of quick thinking is what separates strong candidates from average ones.
The better you get at using this method, the more natural your speech will sound. You'll start to feel like you're having a conversation, not taking a test. And that shift in mindset makes a huge difference in how the examiner perceives you.
Is consistency. Even when you're asked different types of questions, O.R.E.O keeps your answers balanced. You won't be too short or too long. You'll hit all the right points and finish with impact every single time.
And most importantly, it builds your confidence. Once you realize that you can answer difficult questions in a smart, structured way, speaking English stops being scary and starts becoming something you actually enjoy.
The best way to master Part 3 is to build a routine that allows you to practice your speaking in short, focused sessions. You don't need hours, you just need consistency and a strategy that helps you improve a little every day.
Start by collecting a list of typical IELTS Part 3 questions. You can find them in practice books, online forums, or even on YouTube. Channels like this one. The more familiar you are with the questions, the more natural your responses will become.
Once you have a question, take a moment. Opinion. Don't rush. Say it out loud, then follow the O.R.E.O structure. Give your reason, add a clear example, and finish by repeating or extending your original opinion.
After speaking, record your answer and listen back to it. Ask yourself, did I give a clear opinion? Did I explain my reason logically? Was the example specific and relevant? Did my final sentence close the idea smoothly? Be honest with your feedback.
Then, rewrite or re-say the same answer, correcting anything that felt weak or unclear. Practice the same question a few times, not to memorize it, but to build confidence with the structure and learn to express your ideas with more fluency.
Another great tip is to time yourself. Use your phone or a timer to make sure your answer stays within 45 to 60 seconds. That way, you build the habit of being concise, focused, and structured, all essential for Part 3 success.
Try to practice at least 1 or 2 questions per day. Don't aim, just focus on making progress. Even 10 minutes of focused speaking practice each day can dramatically improve your fluency and confidence over time.
You can also work with a study partner. Ask each other questions, give feedback using the O.R.E.O structure, and help each other stay consistent. Speaking with someone else gives you instant practice and keeps the learning process more fun.
If you're studying alone, consider talking to yourself in English while doing everyday activities. For example, describe your thoughts about something you just read or watched, and answer imaginary Part 3 style questions out loud.
The key is repetition and reflection. Every time you speak, review what worked and what didn't, then try again. This process trains your brain to think in English. And over time, answering Part 3 questions will start to feel completely natural.
One of the most common mistakes students make in Part 3 is giving very short, shallow answers. Saying, "Yes, I agree," and stopping there doesn't show your ability to develop ideas or use language in a meaningful way.
Another frequent problem is losing focus mid-answer. Many students start with a good point but then drift into unrelated details. Without a structure, it's easy to go off track and confuse the examiner with unclear or messy ideas.
Overusing memorized phrases is also risky. While it's good to have useful expressions, sounding too rehearsed can actually hurt your score. Examiners want to hear natural, flexible English, not lines you've repeated 100 times.
Some learners also speak too quickly, trying to impress with speed rather than clarity. But when you rush, you often sacrifice pronunciation, grammar, and coherence. A calm, steady pace is far more effective in showing real fluency.
Pausing awkwardly is another issue, especially when you don't know how to begin. But silence doesn't have to be awkward. Taking one or think is totally normal, and it's much better than starting without direction.
To avoid these mistakes, always keep the O.R.E.O structure in mind. It acts like a mental roadmap, guiding you from your initial thought all the way to a strong, confident conclusion, even if the question feels challenging.
Also, try to avoid repeating the same vocabulary over and over. Variety matters. Use synonyms, paraphrase ideas, and try different linking phrases to show that your vocabulary range is wide and your control of language is strong.
Another tip is to avoid giving overly personal or emotional examples that may not connect well to the question. Keep your examples relevant and thoughtful, ones that actually support the point you're trying to make.
And remember, don't try to impress by using extremely complex words or grammar if you're not comfortable with them. It's better to speak simply but clearly than to make errors. Your message.
The bottom line is this: stay calm, stay focused, and use your structure. Avoid the traps we've mentioned by practicing consistently and reflecting on your answers. That's how you build fluency and avoid common mistakes.
Now it's your turn. We've given you the tools, the structure, and the examples. So let's put it all into action. Choose one common IELTS Part 3 question and answer it using the O.R.E.O structure we've been practicing.
Try to speak for about 1 full minute. It doesn't have to be perfect, but make sure you include a clear opinion, a reason to support it, a solid example, and a final thought that reinforces your point.
You can find sample questions online or just use the one we discussed earlier. Do you think technology has made people more or less sociable? Start there and focus on clarity and structure, not speed or complexity.
Don't forget to record yourself. This part is essential. When you listen back, you'll notice areas where you can improve. And you'll also see how much better your answers already sound with structure and purpose.
Once you've recorded challenge yourself to improve it. Try the same question again, but this time use more precise vocabulary, a more vivid example, or a stronger closing statement. Growth comes from repetition.
And if you want to take it a step further, leave your answer in the comments below. We love hearing your ideas, and sharing your answer can also help others who are preparing for the same test. Let's learn together.
Better yet, invite a friend who's also studying for IELTS to join you. Ask each other questions, give feedback using O.R.E.O, and keep each other motivated. Practicing together makes the experience more fun and less stressful.
And if you're studying alone, just speak out loud to yourself. It may feel awkward at first, but it's actually one of the best ways to build fluency and confidence. Make it part of your daily routine. Even 5 minutes a day makes a difference.
The goal isn't to memorize answers, it's to train your brain to think in. With time, you'll get faster, clearer, and more natural in your responses, and that confidence will show when you're sitting in front of the examiner.
So take this challenge seriously. You've come this far in the series, and this is your moment to apply everything you've learned. You've got this, and we're cheering you on every step of the way. Go speak it out loud.
Today, we wrapped up our IELTS Speaking Secrets series by focusing on Part 3, which is often the most challenging part of the test. We showed you how to handle complex questions with confidence using the O.R.E.O technique, so you never feel lost during your answers.
We also shared a full sample response and broke down why it works so well. It's not about sounding perfect. It's about thinking clearly, organizing your ideas, and showing the examiner that you can express yourself naturally in English.
We explained the benefits of using structure, how to practice it, and the most common mistakes to avoid. Remember, improvement doesn't come from luck. It comes from consistent, focused effort and smart practice strategies like the ones we shared.
If you take even just 10 minutes a day to speak out loud, apply O.R.E.O, and reflect on your responses, you'll notice real progress. Fluency is not about knowing every word. It's about learning how to express your thoughts clearly and confidently.
Now we'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and tell us what part of the episode helped you the most, or share your answer to one of the sample questions using the O.R.E.O method. We're here to support you in your journey.
And if you've made it all the way to the end of this video, that shows true dedication. Write the word 3 in the comments so we know you're serious about improving your English and that you completed all 3 parts of this series.
Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share. Someone who's also preparing for IELTS. Every bit of support helps us reach more learners like you around the world.
We're so proud of how far you've come. Keep practicing, stay consistent, and remember, you already have what it takes to succeed. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode of Speak English Podcast.